Hello my dear friends, I welcome you all to our channel Best Notes Tutorials. Till now, we have covered more than 50% of UGC NET. If you wish to see all those videos, you can find all those in our channel. And today I have taken up very important topic, that is Animal Farm. It is a novel by George Orwell. This is an allegorical novel, and this has earned lots of awards to George Orwell as well. So we will discuss all the important things which is related to this topic. So let's begin with the explanation. Before that, let us know about the novel. Here I have written gist of the novel. After that we will discuss character sketch and summary. After that theme and its structure as well. Alright. So let's begin with about the novel topic. Here, Animal Farm is a novel about a group of animals who take control of the farm they live on. Here in Animal Farm, which is the topic of our novel, here we find a group of animals. Okay, they were being governed by a human being. Later on, they take control of this farm. Animal Farm is a novel about freedom, rebellion and corrupting nature of power. Animal Farm, after reading this, we get to know the situation which was prevalent during the Russian Revolution. Okay, Russian rebellion or revolution, which happened in the year 1917. Alright. So, this will give us clear picture of Russian Revolution. So, as it happened in that revolution, in Animal Farm also we find struggle for freedom. For getting freedom, there is rebellion, alright, because the power has become corrupted. Okay, the power which was governing entire beings of Animal Farm, they have become corrupt. Therefore, there is rebellion for freedom, and let's see the result of this rebellion. The animals get fed up of their master, Farmer Jones, so they kick him out. See, these entire animals were being governed by Farmer Jones. Okay, he was giving them orders regarding what they should do, what they should eat, how they should live, etc. So when they become tired of this man, they threw him out. They were successfully threw him out. Once they are free of the tyrant Jones, life on the farm is good for a while and there is hope for a happier future of less work, better education and more food. Here, friends, they thought that our tyrant leader is thrown out. Now our life is going to be very comfortable. We are going to get less work. We are going to get development through education and more food. But this did not happen. What happens in the story? Let's find out. However, trouble brews as the pigs. Napoleon and Snowball. Here, Napoleon and Snowball, these two are characters in the story. They are member of Animal Farm and these two are pigs. Okay, these two are pigs. Regarding them, we will learn in character details. Okay. However, trouble brews as the pigs. Napoleon and Snowball fight for the hearts and mind of the other animals on the farm. Here, Napoleon and Snowball, these two are pigs in the farm. Okay, and these two wanted to have power in their hand. First of all, they wanted to govern their heart. That means they wanted to have emotional support from these animals, and they wanted their mind as well. Okay, it means they wanted to enslave. They wanted to enslave entire animals of that animal farm. Napoleon seizes power by force and ends up exploiting the animals just as Farmer Jones had done. See, gradually the same condition was coming back in the animal farm. Here, Napoleon seized power by force. Okay, he utilized power in order to become the leader and ends up exploiting animals. Animals had thought that now their better days are arriving, but that did not happen, unfortunately. The power relied upon Napoleon and he misused it. So now he became just like Farmer Jones. Alright, it is to indicate that whoever ascends to the throne, alright, they become corrupt. They misuse their power. There is hardly any human being or animal, okay, who being a king or the leader becomes helpful towards his countrymen. Alright, so this is the message. The novel ends with the pigs behaving and even dressing like the humans. The animals tried to get rid of the first place. Here, gradually, even pigs becomes like humans. It is to show that animals are much better than human beings. Human beings, they torture animals because they cannot speak, they cannot voice their emotions. Alright, so here, human beings are worse than animals. This is the thing which is being reflected by these lines. I hope this much it is clear to everyone. If yes, I'll move forward. Now we are coming to the main point. In order to understand this novel, friends, you have to understand each and everything that I have written out here in details. Otherwise, you are going to have problem. Okay? You will not understand head and tail of the story. Therefore, please be focused. So here, in the novel, we find social and historical context. I told you that it talks about Russian Revolution. Okay. So, propaganda related to Russian Revolution was shown through posters. Animal Farm was written by George Orwell and published in 1945. This novel is an allegory. Even though it is set on a farm and stars a cast of farm animals, it reflects the events of the Russian Revolution of 1917. Please keep this date in mind. 1917 is the date of Russian Revolution, and the same is reflected in this novel through Animal Farm. Okay. The animals are all clear representative of Russian politicians, voters and workers. I will show you how this novel is divided, how the protagonist of the novel is divided. Okay, it is divided between politicians, voters and workers. Orwell used the novel to make his opinions on Russian leaders heard. Here, through this novel, he wanted Russian leaders who ruled at that contemporary period, okay, to hear his voice also. What Orwell has to say regarding this rebellion, this revolt, okay, his voice should be heard by Russian leaders. That is why he has written this novel. Animal Farm by George Orwell is an allegory of the events of the Russian Revolution of 1917. I have already told you. Allegory means representing, symbolizing somebody. Okay, so this entire farm is allegorical to Russian Revolution. Alright. It deals with the idea of freedom, rebellion and corrupting nature of power. This also I have already discussed in earlier slides. So we will move ahead. Now we will learn who all are the characters in the story. The characters in Animal Farm can be split into three groups. The first one is the humans, the pigs and the other animals. Please keep in mind it is divided into three categories. Alright. First one is human being, then comes pigs and then other animals. The humans are the villains, thoughtless and neglectful. I told you that animals are much better as it is projected through the novel. Okay, here animals are much more better than human beings. Human beings are thoughtless. Okay, they are insensitive and neglectful. They are neglectful towards the needs of the others. Okay, the pigs are scheming, clever and forceful and replace the humans as villains. Here, pigs are also very clever. Pigs like Napoleon, we will come to that. The other farmyard animals are trusting, passive and hardworking. They are the heroic victims of the novel. Here, there are other people who are silent workers. Okay, and they are unsung hero in the novel. Okay, each group represents a different element of Russian Revolution in 1917. Here, in Russian Revolution, there were different categories of people. Elite people, middle class people and lower middle class people. Okay, so this segregation is shown in the novel as well. Protagonist of the novel. The characters in Animal Farm can be divided into three groups: the humans, pigs and other farm animals. Each group represents a different element of Russian Revolution of 1917. This also we have already discussed, so we will move to another slide. Here comes the characters. Main characters are Old Major, Napoleon, Snowball and Boxer, and secondary characters are Mr. Jones, Squealer and Benjamin. Okay, who all are they and what are their character traits? We will understand in our next slide. Apart from these, we have minor characters to complete the novel. Those are Clover, the mother figure of the farm, a kind and caring horse that sees the faults in Napoleon's rules but, like Boxer, lacks the words to express herself. Here in the question you might get to write who is Clover. So here you have to mention Clover is a horse, okay, motherly figure in the farm who is able to understand the injustice which is done by Napoleon but not able to express. Okay. Next is dogs. There are good dogs named Bluebell, Jessie and Pitcher. Then there are Napoleon's dogs that he used to police the farm. Okay, they represent the secret organization of the police. If you remember, during World War II, okay, during war, nations or countries used to keep private assassins, okay, private detectives. So they are represented by these dogs which used to police, which used to be taken for investigation or detective activities by the leaders. Okay, so these represents organization of the police, or you can say detectives, assassins, CIDs, etc. Okay, the hens, they bravely protest about their eggs, being taken. Here, another character is hens. Okay, even though they are so fragile, they can be diminished very easily compared to other animals, but still they are brave. Okay, they are able to voice against the injustice which is being done to them. Next is Molly, a horse that is happy to be ruled by humans. This different character sketch shows that different people will have different viewpoint. Okay, therefore there is lots of differences among them. Next we have in the list Moses, John's pet raven. Moses, John's pet raven, also a preacher. Keep in mind, Moses also acts as a preacher. Okay, the one who promotes good deeds among others by preaching their words, especially good words of renowned sages and personalities. The young pigs, they speak out against Napoleon and they are executed as a result. So here it shows that the voice that was raised against the authority was diminished. The sheep, they interrupt debate on the farm with chants of 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. In the story we see sheep, they shout 4 legs good. That means animals are good and 2 legs are bad. That is, human beings are bad. They play a crucial role in Napoleon's rise to power. If you remember, Napoleon was, in history if you go through, Napoleon was made by common people because he was a very good orator. Okay, so when he got the support of common people, then he became a leader. Okay, and the same thing is being shown out here. Mr. Pilkington, an easy-going gentleman farmer who spends most of his time hunting. Next is Mr. Frederick, a tough farmer who fights to get what he wants. Mr. Whimper, a lawyer that the pigs hire. So I hope you all are aware with all the characters. Now we will discuss about main characters in details. Here, the first main character is Old Major. Okay, Old Major is Mr. Jones' prize boar. He gathers all the animals together in the big barn to make a speech. Here, Old Major, okay, Old Major, he gathers animals. Old Major gathers animals to give a speech, to deliver a speech. He tells the animals that mankind and Mr. Jones are the enemy. It is their fault that the animal lives are miserable. Here Mr. John is the one to say all this thing. He points out how cruel the men are to the animals, consuming without producing. Here, in order to rule, okay, he points out the shortcomings of this government or this person. He says that one day a rebellion will come. The animals will overthrow mankind and live in harmony. So it shows that throwing out of the power which is prevalent right now. Old Major is very intelligent, well respected, an excellent speaker and an inspiration to the animals. So here he is very important person, okay, because he is intelligent, respected, he is respected by everyone, and he is excellent orator or a speaker. He ends his speech by teaching the animals a song called Beasts of England. After the speech, okay, at the end of the speech, he used to make all the animals sing this song. It is about a time when animals are free and humans are overthrown. Here, this is the situation which we see in Russian Revolution as well. Okay, when animals were free and humans are overthrown, their rights were taken. He dies shortly after giving his speech, and the other pigs take what they learned from him and create animalism, a set of rules for animals to live by. Here, in that particular place, okay, there is a country, okay, which is being a group of organization which is being formed. Not country, it's a kind of organization which is being formed with the ideals or principles of animalism. Here, this is very important. Old Major is partly based on Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin. Karl Marx was a German philosopher who lived during the 19th century. His ideas formed the basis of communalism. His ideas are collectively known as Marxism, like animalism in the novel. So here, the animalism which is started in the story, it reflects the ideas of Marxism. Okay. He developed theories on how power structure in society keep people under control. If we read the theory of Karl Marx, we will understand distribution of power. Alright, so this is seen in this novel as well. Vladimir Lenin was a Russian revolutionary who established a form of Marxism in Russia in the early 20th century. This leader also becomes very important because he plays a crucial part in Russian Revolution as well. Next character in the story is Napoleon in Animal Farm. Napoleon, okay. Napoleon is a threatening and fierce-looking Berkshire boar. He is a boar, okay, or you can say male pig as well. He is one of the three pigs that take Old Major's idea and turn them into animalism, a system of thought that encourages the animals to rebel. So here, animalism was established by Napoleon, okay, and these animals are instigated to rebel against the nation or the organization. He is not a gifted speaker, but is known for getting his own way. Here, somehow he became the leader. He did not have much quality as earlier leader had. He also manages to get the support of the sheep. He encourages them to chant 4 legs good, 2 legs bad during debates, preventing others making their point. Here, when others used to put forward their ideas, it is the group of animals who were encouraged by Napoleon. They used to speak these lines, okay, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, and others' voices were unheard. Others' voices were suppressed. This is what Napoleon did when he was in power. That is what it is being reflected here. He takes 2 litters of puppies from their mothers and brings them up himself. 2 litters, 2 little children, okay, 2 young puppies from their mother and raises them. Once they have grown up, he uses them to take control of the farm. Here, for his own selfish needs, he provided shelter, food to these litters, and then later on, when they grew up, he took advantage from him. Okay. After he has done this, he and the other pigs start to break the 7 commandments that the animals agree to live by. See, before their arrival, there was a set of rules, okay, especially 7 commandments. We will learn about this also, okay, 7 commandments. But when Napoleon came, okay, his rule disagreed with the 7 commandments, okay. He eventually became as much of a tyrant as Mr. Jones ever was and exploits the other animals. Here, Mr. Jones was thrown away by animals in order to get a good life, but the condition became much worse when Napoleon became the leader. Napoleon is based on the Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin. Stalin was involved in the Russian Revolution in 1917 and came to rule Soviet Russia after the death of Vladimir Lenin in 1924. He ruled until his death in 1953. During his time in power, the country was gripped by famine and fear. Millions of people starved to death, and those who opposed him were imprisoned or killed. Here, Napoleon, okay, a pig, right, or you can say boar also, male pig, who is represented by Napoleon. He became the replica of Joseph Stalin. His rule was not prosperous at all because during that period, famine arrived, okay, everybody was under threat, people were starved to death, and when they opposed, they were imprisoned or killed, because this shows incapability of this leader as well. The name also evokes the French military leader Napoleon Bonaparte, who ruled from 1776 to 1821, who seized power after the French Revolution, crowned himself emperor, and ruled France until 1815. This particular point shows that this novel is not limited to Russian Revolution. It can be related, or it is relatable to other historical situations as well. Napoleon Bonaparte, who became leader with the help of commoners, okay, because he was a good speaker, it cannot be compared with another leader, okay, like Jones, but he was a good speaker, because of which he was able to gather a handsome crowd. Alright, so here Napoleon shows, or Napoleon represents a tyrant ruler. You must keep this thing in mind. Let's move to another character, Snowball in Animal Farm. Snowball is one of the key pigs who take the teachings of Old Major and turn them into a way of thinking called animalism. So here, I guess this is clear. Okay, animalism was given importance by these animals. This is another pig. Snowball is another pig who gives importance to animalism. He is an intelligent and animated pig. He comes up with new ideas and cares about the working animals. His plans and ideas revolve around providing education and better condition on the farm. There are good people also, okay, who is represented by Snowball in the animal farm, who thought about providing education and for the betterment of the condition of this farm. He is also a brave fighter, organizing the animals during the Battle of Cowshed. So here, he is brave fighter who provided protection to this animal farm with his might. Napoleon does not like Snowball's ideas and so has him chased off the farm by his guard dogs. Napoleon did not like his ideas because Snowball was thinking about common people. Okay, common people represented by animals right now in the Animal Farm novel. Okay, so here he used his dogs to chase him away. We do not see Snowball after this incident. He is used by Napoleon as a scapegoat. Anything that goes wrong on the farm is blamed on him. Here, when he was not present in the farm because Napoleon himself had chased him away. So whatever wrong thing happened, he used to put upon Snowball. Okay, that because of this particular animal, the condition of animal farm is bad. It is deteriorating. Anything used to happen, especially, and Napoleon used to blame him. Napoleon also convinces the animals that Snowball was never brave during the battle and was actually on Mr. John's side. So this was, this version of the story was made up by Napoleon in order to gather confidence from rest of the animals, but this was not true. Okay, Snowball was somewhat a good pig and he thought about common people, whereas Napoleon did not. Snowball represents Leon Trotsky. Snowball represents Leon Trotsky. Trotsky was a political theorist, revolutionary, and a leader of Red Army. After the revolution, he was involved in Russian foreign affairs and policy making. He opposed Stalin's decisions and eventually was forced to exile from the Soviet Union in 1929. He resided in Mexico. He was assassinated by a Soviet agent in 1940. Most of the family members he left in the Soviet Union were arrested and killed. See, friends, at that time, all the autocratic rulers used to keep private assassins, alright, in order to suppress the voices which were used against the power, alright, which were used against the leaders. So the same was done to him as well. Boxer in Animal Farm. Boxer, horse, is a tragic hero. Okay, Boxer is a horse and he is a tragic hero. He is hard worker, strong, loyal and caring. He also fights bravely against the humans. Unfortunately, he is too loyal. The pigs take advantage of this and work him until he collapses. And they sell them to the horse slaughterer so that they can buy more whiskey. This is the condition of common people. They work wholeheartedly and eventually they are the one who has to suffer till the end. So this is reflected in the novel by Boxer, who was a horse. Further, whenever something goes wrong, he blames himself and vows to work even harder. Here, he represents a true sense of human being because this is the main trait of human being, right? To blame ourselves if we have done anything wrong. This is reflected by Boxer in the story and he promises to work even harder. Okay, this is another essential trait of human being which is reflected by Boxer. So in the story, it shows peasant workers of Russia. His favorite saying are, Napoleon is always right and I will work harder. He is the strongest animal and could easily fight off the pigs and dogs. Pigs here represents different leaders, okay? He never does though, as he is too used to taking orders. Boxer represents the peasant workers of Russia. So here, Boxer is hardworking. It means peasants are hardworking. They accept their flaws and vows to work even harder. They don't blame. Peasants don't blame to others even if things go in a different way than expected. They were exploited by the Tsar Nicholas II, who ruled from 1894 until his expulsion in 1917. The workers were kept in a position where they never earned enough money to pay for food and accommodation. The revolution of 1917 sought to address this problem but only led to more hardship and starvation under the rule of Stalin. So here the people in Russia were already troubled by Tsar Nicholas II, and people thought that after throwing this ruler, they are going to have prosperity. But contrary happened, and under the leadership of Stalin, the situation became more worse. Even though they rebelled, their voices were not heard. Okay, they had done it for their selfish interest only. So nobody had taken care of common people. So it shows that only the ruler changes, but the person who understands the sufferings of common people never comes to power. Next character in the story is Mr. Jones, who was overthrown by animals. Let's see the details about him. Mr. Jones from 1954 film. Okay, let's cut this because if we include film out here, then it will be complicated. Okay, Mr. John is the owner of Manor Farm. He neglects the animals, spends most of the time drinking and reading the newspaper and not feeding them. He is taken by surprise by the animals when they fight back against him and his men, so much so that he is thrown out of the farm. Here, the leader, okay, is represented by Mr. Jones in Animal Farm, and he was overthrown because of his negligence towards his animal, or you can say in Russia towards his countrymen. And this had to happen. Okay, if somebody goes beyond the limit, okay, of oppression and exploitation, the revolution is meant to happen, right? So this is what we see in Animal Farm as well. He tries twice to take back the farm, but both attempts fail. He ends up dying in a home for alcoholics. Mr. Jones could be likened to Tsar Nicholas II. Jones is the reason for the rebellion in the same way Tsar Nicholas II was in simple terms, the cause of Russian Revolution. Where the countrymen are not happy with the king, okay, they are going to rebel, and the same thing happened to Mr. Jones also. Mr. John is replica of Tsar Nicholas II. Nicholas II was self-centered person who lived his life as a drunkard, okay, and only thing that mattered to him was related to he himself, not related to the countrymen. Therefore, he was the chief reason of Russian Revolution. Here, in our next slide, we see Squealer in Animal Farm. Squealer in Animal Farm. Squealer is Napoleon's spokesperson. Squealer is another of the three most important pigs. First one is Napoleon, second one is Snowball, and third one is Squealer. Okay. Like Snowball, he is clever and a good speaker, and he is excellent at persuading the other animals. He ends up being Napoleon's spokesperson. He delivers his orders, explains the choices, and tells lies to support Napoleon. He delivers propaganda to other animals. It is also hinted that he reports back to Napoleon about what the other animals say. This is the character of Squealer, who is in support of Napoleon, Alright, he is very good spokesperson, and in politics it is very much essential, you can say indispensable quality. If you are not a good speaker, the countrymen are not going to follow you. Therefore, he had qualities to the post that he is holding right now. Next character is Benjamin. Alright, Benjamin is pessimistic donkey. He is negative-minded donkey. Benjamin is an old and pessimistic donkey. No one on the farm knows exactly how old he is, but it is hinted that he was been around for a very long time. He is never enthusiastic when things go well for the animals. Likewise, he is never surprised or upset when things go wrong. So here we see Benjamin, okay, who is a donkey. Remember, okay, animals name and their character sketch you need to keep in mind. Here he has become very old because it's been long that he is there in animal farm. So it is hinted that he is there since decades. He often gives vague answers, unclear answers. Some might say he is a realist. He is close friends with Boxer and plans to spend his retirement with him. See, Benjamin has a very simple planning for him, okay? He does not think of hi-fi, posts or any materialistic things. He has a plain life and he wants to sustain it in that way. He calls all the other animals to help Boxer in being taken away by the horse slaughterers. He calls other people in order to save Boxer, who is a horse, hard-working horse. Okay, till now we have discussed all the characters in the story. Now we will discuss form, structure and language of the story. Then we will move ahead. The language used in Animal Farm as well as its form and structure are vital to Orwell's storytelling. His use of persuasive language, circular narrative and allegory are particularly significant. In storytelling, all these qualities has to be woven into the story. Okay, that is what Orwell did. The form of a novel is the type of text and genre the writer chooses to write in. Animal Farm has a number of elements to it to form the genre. Animal Farm could fit into the genre of a fairy story, fable, allegory or satire. On the surface, the novel is very simple, a narrative with a lesson that is suitable for children. When seeing the narrative as a metaphor or allegory, it becomes more complex. The reader needs prior knowledge to appreciate the novel on this level. See, friends, this is why I told you in the starting of the video that you need to understand each and everything, then only you are going to understand it, because this is, you can say, miniature or representation of the things that happened in Russian Revolution in the year 1917. Okay, so we have to see this story allegorically, okay, or metaphorically. Let's move to genre. Fairy story. The idea of talking animals and simple written style are elements that fits this form. This novel can be called as fairy story because animals are talking and these are going to happen in a story only. Children story. Okay. Allegory. This is very important. Okay. The farm and the animals are extended metaphor. The farm represents Russia and its experience of revolution in 90s. Mr. John and the animals represent the Russian leaders and people of the time. Okay, so it is allegory. It represents something or somebody. Clear? Now fable. Fable is a story that teaches a lesson or moral, and it has animals as characters. Orwell uses the action of the animals to teach readers lesson about equality, power, corruption and freedom. Okay, I hope this is clear. The story of Animal Farm can be fairy story, allegory, fable and satire as well. How satire? Let's find out. Orwell satirizes the political leaders of Russia in 90s. So it is obvious that when political leaders are incapable, then countrymen, they will protest, and this is why it is a satire. Okay, the things that happened in the farm, it is satirical incident to the things that happened in the revolution. The narrator in the story. The novel has a third person omniscient narrator. We see and know everything that happens and hear the characters' thoughts. This gives the readers an overview which allows us to come to our own conclusion about events on the farm. Animal Farm follows a simple structure. It is written in 10 chapters that can be divided into 3 sections. First is Dream, then Rebellion and Napoleon's regime. Now we will move towards the story. Old Major, the prize boar, calls a secret meeting of all the farm animals on Manor Farm. He states that a rebellion against their human master, Mr. Jones, will one day come. A cow starts the rebellion by walking into the store shed. The animal ends up chasing Mr. Jones off the farm. Now they are free. The animals all agree on the 7 commandments that they will live by. Here we need to understand that animals were not happy with their present owner, that is Mr. Jones. Therefore, they were accumulated, under the leadership of Old Major, and they threw Mr. Jones out of this farm. And then they agreed to 7 commandments, because in order to live we need certain rules and regulations, right? Certain principles. So they agreed to follow 7 commandments and they proceeded. The farm is renamed Animal Farm. There is hope for a better future. The pigs start to order the other animals around and take more food than they should. Here, the name of the farm is now changed to Animal Farm. There is a hope of better future. It is because they have thrown away tyrant Mr. Jones, and they are thinking of getting a better leader for them. They are of thought that they will get somebody better than Mr. Jones. The pigs start to order the other animals around and take more food than they should. Here the pigs, they took the advantage of this situation and they started ordering other animals. Not only that, they took more food. Whether others are having food for eating or not, that is not their chief concern. They are self-centered, which is shown here. The animals bravely fight off a human attempt to retake the farm. This becomes known as the Battle of the Cowshed. Here, other animals, they were united to fight other human attempts to govern them. They have already thrown a human being, that is Mr. Jones. Now they don't want any human being to rule them. The animals set to work building a windmill and Napoleon takes charge. Napoleon reduces the rations and rights of the animals and starts breaking the commandments. After a while, Napoleon becomes the leader of that animal farm, and he reduces food, and rights of the animal as well, and started breaking the principles on which the farm should be running. There is another invasion by the men and the windmill is blown up. Here, recently the leader was thrown out. Now they are trying to protect themselves. Okay. Now here, Boxer collapses whilst rebuilding it for the second time. Here, windmill is blown off, and Boxer, the horse, he starts repairing. We know that Boxer represents common people or peasants. Napoleon and other pigs learn to walk on their hind legs, wear human clothes, and carry whips. Okay, whips with which animals and human beings are beaten up. Here, even the medical concern was not there in Napoleon. Whether the animals were hurt, whether they were sick, that did not matter to them. What was important for Napoleon is the work. Okay, for that, even whips were used. Despite all their hard work, animals of the farm are right back to where they began, hungry, scared, and exploited by those in charge. So, their dream of getting freedom shattered when Napoleon worsened the situation in Animal Farm. They started thinking that Mr. Jones was much better than this tyrant ruler Napoleon. Old Major delivers a speech to all the farm animals. He points out that their lives are difficult, full of hardship, and that they live in slavery because of the way Farmer Jones treats them. According to Old Major, all men are enemies. All animals are equal, and one day there will be a rebellion. He then teaches the animals a song called Beasts of England. The song is about animals overthrowing man and being free. So here we see Old Major taking crucial part in dethroning of this man, okay, farmer. Now, he says that all men are enemies. In order to take charge, he says that all the two-legged people are enemies. Now, in this chapter, in this slide, we learn establishment of animalism. Old Major dies 3 nights later. Very soon he dies, okay? After this incident, 3 pigs, Snowball, Napoleon, and Squealer, take Old Major's teaching. They turn into a way of thinking called animalism. Here, these 3 people, that is Snowball, Napoleon, and Squealer, took the animalism to another level. The rebellion comes when Mr. Jones forgets to feed the animals. Here, rebellion comes in Russia, which is represented by Animal Farm. Okay, Mr. John forgets to feed animals, and then the revolution is started. Then the same thing we see in Russia also, when the leader Tsar Nicholas II was not able to provide food to the countrymen, the revolution started. A fed-up cow pushes her way into the store shed to look for food. See, this was high time, it shows. The rest of the animals go in to help themselves. Mr. Jones and his men try to get animals back in line, but the animals chase them off the farm. Here it shows that now animals had enthusiasm to suppress the suppression which is made by Jones. But how long? Let's find out. They proclaim the farm belongs to them now. The animals rejoice in their victory. They change the name of farm to Animal Farm. They also decide on 7 commandments to live by that focus on animal equality and avoid behaving like Jones. Jones means authoritative person. Okay, authoritative person. So authority was thrown out and equality was established according to the animals. Was it really so? We will see. Life is good after the rebellion. The animals are happy, they work well together and more efficiently. This efficiency was less when Mr. Jones had the power. Boxer the horse always makes a huge effort. His motto is I will work harder. The pigs began to teach the others to read and write. The Napoleon steals some milk for himself after the first day's harvest. Here we see that animals are happy because they think that their leadership has been changed. Okay, and John was powerful person, but they were efficient to throw him out, and it shows that he was less competent than anyone else. Boxer is horse always make a huge effort. His motto is to work harder. Boxer, who represents common people, he works hard and he continues working. The pigs began to teach the others to read. Okay, it means that pigs, whatever they wished, it was transported into the heads of common people. Okay, it means the power of mind was there in their hand. Napoleon steals some milk for himself after the first day's harvest. So, when it is politics, okay, be it Napoleon or anyone else, if they are into politics, they are going to steal and snatch things of common people. So, it happened here as well. Two pigs, Snowball and Napoleon, often argue during the meetings. Snowball sets of committees, focuses on education, reading and writing. He reduces animalism to one idea for the simpler animals. That is, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. And the ship regularly chanted. Here, there were good politicians as well who used to focus on reading, writing and education of the common people. But it was not sustained. Napoleon, however, thinks educating the old animals animals is a waste of money. Therefore, he focuses on the youngsters. Particularly a litter of 9 puppies that he takes away from their mother to educate them himself. Here, particularly, we find that animalism was reduced and education was prospering gradually. At this stage, the pigs start making extra apples and milk for themselves. Here, now the leaders also became very self-centered. Not only this, they had become less sensitive towards common people. Some important complain, but Squealer persuades them that if the pigs don't get the extra food they need, Jones might return. Here, this was the technique to get the people into order. They said that John will come back if they are not going to follow the instructions. This is enough to make the other animals agree with them. The inequality became the pigs and the other begins here. So here, as you can see, that inequality between pig and the other animals we can find out here. Jones and his men try to retake the farm, but the animals fight against the invasion. Here, now the common animals in the farm had become so strong and they were so enthusiastic that whenever Jones tried to come back to rule, they send him away. The fight is known as the Battle of the Cowshed. Awards are given for bravery to Snowball and boxer as well. The animals vote on a windmill. Snowball suggests building a windmill. Napoleon thinks they should spend their time building up food stores instead. As the animals are about to vote on the matter, Napoleon calls his dogs into the barn. They are now fully grown and they chase Snowball away. Napoleon and the pigs break the commandments. Supplies and food runs short and the pigs start trading with the humans. They move into the farmhouse, sleep in the bed and gets up an hour later than the other animals. So here pigs started taking advantage. Okay, they slept till late and they started trading with the humans as well. An accident occurred with some hens who protest against unfair treatment and refuse to hand his eggs over. So again this tyranny, against this torture came back in this area. Napoleon stopped their food and 9 of them died as a result. The man invade and blow up the windmill. The animals finish the windmill for the second time, but with longer working hours and less food. During another attempt invasion by the men, the windmill is blown up. Okay, windmill was destroyed because of another invasion. The pigs then break another commandments by drinking alcohol to celebrate the victory of the invasion. Here, pigs started enjoying giving up their commandments, rules and regulations. The farm is proclaimed a republic and a president is elected, but there was only one candidate to vote for, that is Napoleon. Boxer collapses and is sold to horse slaughterer. This is second part. Boxer falls whilst rebuilding the windmill. Boxer is a horse and he is a very hard-working animal. Alright, when he was repairing this windmill which had destroyed, okay, let's see what is there ahead. The pigs claim they will look after him but sell him to a dog slaughterer. Squealer lies to the animals, telling them that Napoleon ensured the boxer got best treatment possible. The pigs use the money from the sale of boxer to buy whiskey. So here I think it is clear, everyone. The pigs become just as bad as Mr. John's. Here Mr. John is the owner and pigs represents 3 pigs. Okay, the pigs start behaving like humans. Like humans means they are intolerant. Okay, they are torturous. They are self-centered. Time moves on and the pig grow fatter, whilst the other animals work harder and are given less food. They now can't remember if they were better or worse off under the rule of Mr. Jones. They started comparing in his mind that if the pigs learn to walk on 2 legs and have adopted all of Mr. Jones' bad habits. And old Major told them to avoid this in his speech. Here pigs started being like humans. It means that they were adopting human nature. Not only that, they started wearing dresses like human. Okay, pigs started wearing like human beings. Their dress up, their way of thinking, their way of acting was similar. They invited the humans they once fought against to the farm. Napoleon declares that the farm will be called Manor Farm. Again, the animals watching the meeting cannot tell the difference between the human and the pigs. Here both of them becomes one eventually because they become insensitive, they become intolerant about others in the farm. By this story ends. Okay, so here we get to learn that leaders are self-centered, leaders are uncooperative, common people are sincere but they don't have time and mind to look after these political things, therefore they give up. So everybody should be aware regarding this and should not give away, being careful. Let's move towards themes. Here you will find class, equality, inequality, power, control and corruption. These are the these are the 6 things which comes in the story. These themes are explored through the events and characters in the novel and are an allegory for Russian Revolution. The animal's unhappiness represents class struggle. This leads to the rebellion which offers some equality. Then the pig's action allows inequality back on the farm. The theme of power and control is explored throughout the novel and is highlighted by characters' relationship on the farm. This we have already learned. Okay, pigs took over the charge after John's, and animals were thinking that the things will change, it will become better, but contrary happened. The themes are political and explore what happened within Russian society in 1917 onwards. Orwell originally subtitled the novel a fairy story, suggesting he intended it as a fable. Animal Farm is an allegory for the Russian Revolution. It is important to remember that even though the novel is based on events that took place in 1917, the themes are still relevant today. This is absolutely true. The theme, the characters and entire storyline is relatable to today's situation and then situation as well. This is wonderfully written, therefore it is a masterpiece. Class in Animal Farm. The animals on Animal Farm, like the Russian working class, broke fire of their chains. Now here they wanted freedom. Russian workers wanted freedom. Before the revolution of 1917, Tsar Nicholas II ruled Russia. The ruling classes had money and power, whilst most of the population were poor, exploited, peasant workers or from the working class. These animals lived in terrible conditions and they farmed their farm. What they farmed was taken from them, leaving them to face starvation and poverty. In Animal Farm, Orwell uses the animals and their action to make the readers think about equality and inequality. Before 1917, the majority of Russian people suffered from great inequality. They had far less money and food than the ruling classes. Likewise, before the rebellion in Animal Farm, Mr. Jones takes everything that the animals have away from them. So here we get to see that inequality prevails and nobody does anything in order to eradicate this inequality. So this is the thing. Further we will see the Animal Farm. In Animal Farm, Orwell explores equality, inequality through After the rebellion, the animals are free from tyranny of Mr. Jones and seek to establish equality among themselves. But unfortunately, they fails. Okay, that is another thing. One of the commandments is all animals are equal. However, this equality is short-lived and pigs begin to bend the rules until inequality returns to the farm. So here we see inequality which is brought into animal farm by pigs. Okay, 3 pigs are represented, especially Napoleon does that. The inequality between the animals and mankind returns. The equality that the animals seek to establish after the rebellion, the inequality that begins again after the pigs take control. Okay, it talks about inequality, equality and inequality. Alright, so and throughout the novel we find the theme of equality and inequality in different situations. Now let's talk about power and control. Farmer Jones tries to keep animals under his control. This shows power. Power and control is one of the most important themes in Animal Farm. That is very much true. Orwell explores political power. Mr. Jones owns the farm and the animals and uses his men and whip, okay, to keep them under control and maintain his power. So obviously, the novel's one of the themes is power. Orwell shows that the animals have the power to challenge Mr. Jones, control and take over the farm using power in a positive way. So here Orwell tries to say that two uses of power. One is positive and another one is negative. Negative power is shown by Napoleon, who wants to govern, and Mr. Jones as well. Okay, but there are common people also who unitedly fought and they were able to dethrone the present ruler, that is Mr. Jones, Farmer Jones. All right. So through through unity, everything is possible. This is also shown in the novel. He then explores how the pigs are rhetoric and propaganda to establish themselves in power and take control of the farm. Here, then it talks about controlling. Okay, control of the farm, control of the organization. It is interesting that the working animals, especially boxer, the horse, have great physical power, but they don't use it to break free from the control of pigs. Even after having power, if somebody does not want freedom, then nobody can help them out. Somebody should make them realize that the power that they have, it should be used in a positive and constructive way to make things easier, not only for themselves but others as well. Orwell explores the idea of power leading to corruption. This is correct. Napoleon, after becoming the leader, became corrupt. Okay, he started keeping things for himself at first, and then he started other misuse of power as well. Here, many of the characters in the novel are eventually corrupted by the power they have, particularly the pigs, as they manipulate their position of leadership to exploit other animals. In Animal Farm, Orwell explores power and control through Mr. Jones, exploiting his power and treating animals badly, the rebellion, and how the animals use power to take over the farm, the pigs, and how they cleverly control the other animals. So it talks about power and controlling other beings in the novel. Friends, I hope the story is clear to you all. And if you have any queries, you can drop a message. I will try my best to clear it out. So all the best for your examination. Prepare well. All the best. Thank you.